Good evening and welcome to WBS Prime News Live. It's the 25th day of February, the year 2015. But first, let's take a look at what's making headlines.
We have exactly around. Get going. Al-Shabaab won America and Canada, but you never know, they may change.
Kampala police issue a new terror alert. They inspect public security installations.
As we roll over during the weeks, we are realizing that we are seeing about 110 patients every day.
Kampala typhoid surges. The number of victims rises to over 300.
I would suggest that you wait and see how that all plays out. There may be, because of the sanctions imposed upon the parent company.
Deal with them at your own risk. U.S. ambassador warns Uganda on Russian firm.
Saturday we shall regroup for non-residential training Saturday and Sunday.
And the under-23 team regroups this Saturday for the return leg against Mozambique. Good evening once again. You're watching WBS Prime News Live, and you can also watch this live on www.wbs.ug/livestream. Now the news in detail. I'm Mildred Tohaise. The number of typhoid cases of fever registered in Kampala has critically risen from 35 to 639, and figures could increase after reports of new cases in Wakiso spark fear of gaps in addressing the disease. The Ministry of Health last week confirmed an outbreak of typhoid in Kampala and urged vigilance.
This and more people are some of the patients that await health services at the Kisenyi Health Center 4 in Kampala that has been designated to handle typhoid cases since the outbreak a week ago. The number has since risen from 35 to over 600. These are kept here under surveillance and getting treatment for the waterborne disease that the ministry warns may spread further. The latest typhoid outbreak in Kampala is attributed to the heavily contaminated water and other beverages being consumed by people. Assistant Commissioner in charge of epidemiology and epidemic diseases at the Ministry of Health, Dr. Monica Musenero, attributes the surging outbreak to the contamination of the existing environment, especially water, sewer systems, and the laxity in household hygiene and sanitation.
Most of the water, apart from the packaged water, the mineral water, the rest of the water being consumed, the juices, they are all heavily contaminated with the feces. All the sources of water, in fact, we tested juices, we tested bushera, we have tested the water, this water which is packed in Govera. All of it is heavily contaminated.
The outbreak indicates after laboratory tests that there was increase in contamination of water, which led to 639 cases registered by Tuesday at Kisenyi Health Center 4, just a week after the outbreak was reported. Dr. Musenero, however, confirmed that the ministry is currently at the front line of the outbreak by managing the cases through the supply of drugs, providing technical support to Kampala Capital City Authority, and identifying the gaps like health personnel, as well as understanding the disease.
We have supplied all the drugs that are needed. The first batch and the second batch is being supplied today. We have also provided technical support, actually the individuals who are there out helping KCCA on a daily basis to make sure that everything at the health center is moving. We are identifying gaps because the numbers are more than we had initially expected.
Household health will make the difference in such a contaminated environment by keeping to proper hand washing 5 times in flowing water, excluding the mealtime and after the toilet washing, boiling of drinking water properly, leaving it for at least 2 minutes boiling, and households acquiring water disinfectants. Dr. Richard Wariomu, the Central Division Medical Officer, says the disease has become a threat because it depicted symptoms like fever, abdominal pain, vomiting and headache that are similar to malaria and could be misunderstood.
As we roll over during the weeks, we are realizing that we are seeing about 100, 110 patients every day. As I talk now, the cumulative figure is about 500, with no death yet, except some 5 people who had died initially before we started treating.
Kasese district had the worst typhoid outbreak in the country in 2010-2011 that took 2 years to contain. When not treated in time, typhoid can lead to perforations in the intestines. East Africa is developing a new vaccine for typhoid that has already been tested in Kenya and Burundi and will now expand to Uganda.
Now, police is stepping up security operations in the city following intelligence information indicating a terror threat. Now, to ascertain that, security measures are being followed, and police in Kampala has conducted an inspection exercise along all public places in the city centre. The inspection, conducted by the Regional Police Commander, Kampala Metropolitan South, Siraje Bakaleke, comes with intelligence reports that suggest the deadly Al-Shabaab militia is planning to attack.
The 3-month assessment exercise, according to the police, is geared at ensuring that all public places put in place security measures that were earlier on put in place by the police. Wednesday morning, the Regional Police Commander Kampala South, Siraje Bakaleke, under the command of the Inspector General of Police, made impromptu visits into most of the prominent hotels in the city centre, reminding them of terror threats. He was accompanied by the area divisional police commanders and different officers in charge of different police stations. However, the police team was not happy with some hotels that did not have deployment, blaming the area security bosses of incompetence. He then ordered for immediate deployment of counter-terror police officers in his presence.
We have a terror threat around. Get it going? Al-Shabaab won America and Canada, but you never know, they may change. That one calls for total alertness when you are here. You get the point? And guide these as security, this private security checking must be thorough. Person gets out of the vehicle, checks thorough, the vehicle checks thorough, then the person is allowed to access the hotel.
At the Sheraton Hotel, the team was convinced of the security at the complex after the inspection unit managed to find a sniffer dog with enough counter-terror police deployed at the main entrance. The commander, however, issued a strong warning to all the public places that have ignored the security guidelines that had been put up by the police.
Still, we need to tighten the security, and everybody must report them. That's why I wanted to say you, such that they are extra.
The Al-Shabaab has issued several threats since the July 2010 twin bomb attacks in Kampala that left over 80 people dead.
The U.S. ambassador to Uganda, Scott DeLisi, cautions that Uganda could find it difficult for its first refinery construction to be financed if it goes ahead to grant the contract to RT Global Resources, a blacklisted Russian firm. Speaking to the press from the U.S. Embassy in Kampala, DeLisi says necessary information regarding the status of the company has been given to Ugandan officials, though he says the United States respects the sovereignty of Uganda to make its own decisions.
With news awash about the Russian firm that is a frontrunner to carry out construction of the first oil refinery in the country, the U.S. envoy to Uganda, Scott DeLisi, warns that the action could come with negative repercussions for Uganda due to the status of the company, RT Global Resources.
The issues of sanctions, this is something that I'm sure the government's going to have to look at carefully. The refinery deal is not a done deal. They have designated the Russian company as the first on the list, absolutely, but they still have to negotiate a variety of issues that will go to financing and all the rest. I would suggest that you wait and see how that all plays out. There may be, because of the sanctions imposed upon the parent company, There may be problems in terms of financing, ability to operate. We'll see how that works out. It's not my job to tell the government of Uganda with whom they can engage in the world, but it is my job to share with the government U.S. policy, U.S. concerns if there are any, and to define the nature of our partnership.
The ambassador, however, insisted the United States will not interfere with the process that he says is the preserve of Uganda, an independent nation.
We recognize that Uganda, as a sovereign nation, has dealings with many countries around the world. These are choices that every nation has to make. Does Uganda, when it makes those choices to partner with country X or country Y, as a sovereign nation, they will of course be cognizant of the fact that it could have implications for how they work with other nations. We're always all trading off.
In his address to journalists from the embassy in Kampala, the ambassador also questioned reports pointing to an increase in the presence of the Lord's Resistance Movement, a force that he says has been pushed to the wall since the intervention of the United States Army, even as Joseph Kony remains elusive.
We see an organization that probably has fewer than 150 active fighters. How many thousands did they have 10 years ago? We see them broken up into small groups running around, oftentimes merely trying to survive. We see command and control diminished. We have brought countless people off the battlefield in the past 2.5 years that I've been here. The number of defections has been huge, and this in part is, again, a result of the cooperative effort between our folks and the Ugandan military and the others involved.
A recent report on the state of the LRA by Invisible Children points to increased presence of the LRA in the region. On the unending bickering in the neighboring South Sudan, the U.S., according to the ambassador, is closely watching the peace talks, with sanctions to be imposed on the leaders if the ongoing talks do not yield results. The conflict in the world's youngest nation has been ongoing for several months, with most attempts at restoring peace hitting a dead end, as the two principals failed to strike a deal to restore peace. Sabit Joseph, WS Television, from the U.S. Embassy in Kampala.
A lot more stories are still lined up for you in our second segment. Let's take a first break, and first we'll take a look at a reminder of our top stories. Kampala police issue new terror alert. They inspect public security installations. Kampala typhoid surges. The number of victims rises to over 300. Deal with them at your own risk. U.S. ambassador warns Uganda on Russian firm.
Load the airtime knowing it's easy. You get it all back with Chizzy. All the airtime you spend, Chizzy. At the end of the month, Chicho, Chizzy. 1K, 2K, 5K, Chizzy. 10K, 20K, 30K. Chizzy. Airtime you spend is refunded. Talk and talk with Chizzy. Chicho. Uganda Telecom's got something.
Get back your airtime with Chizzy from Uganda Telecom. Dial *100#, select Chizzy, and get the total amount you spend in a month refunded. This refund can be used for calls and SMSs to all networks for the next 30 days from Uganda's most affordable telecom service, Uganda Telecom. It's all about you.
There's a new workhorse in town. The new Dutchfar Agrolax tractor from Dutchfar, Germany is now available at Spear Motors Limited. This tractor, with user-friendliness as standard, comes in 2x4 and 4x4 wheel drive with a 3-cylinder diesel engine characterized by outstanding performance and low fuel consumption. It's the ultimate workhorse that offers value for money. So pay us a visit today. Spear Motors Limited, plot M428 Nakawa Ginger Road.
Welcome back, and thank you so much. In more news, WBS TV journalist Andrew Lwanga today took to the stands at Buganda Road Court, pinning the former division police commander of Old Kampala Police Station, Joram Mwesige, over assaulting him. Court at the same time disallowed the application by the defense lawyer George Spencer, who wanted court to disallow other witnesses not listened to before the trial started from testifying.
The principal witness in the case against the former Old Kampala DPC has finally testified, pinning the suspended DPC on the assault charges. court presided over by the Buganda Road Court Grade 1 Magistrate Sanyu Mukasa heard how Andrew Lwanga was assigned to cover a press conference at Jema office, but as he was still executing his duties, he was battered by the DPC. He told court that he can no longer stand on his own without being supported, adding that he is incapacitated to meet his rent and other financial desires because he no longer works. Lwanga, who sustained injuries, told court that he was admitted at St. Francis Hospital in Zambia for about 16 days before he was discharged.
Yeah, I still have a lot of pain. What normally helps me to, be able to walk and move a bit, they tie something around my waist. This gives me, kind of support to support myself.
The Human Rights Network for Journalists applauded the expeditious trial, saying there's a likelihood of having justice, citing the denial of the application by the defense that sought to block new witnesses in the case.
The principal witness has been able to testify, and in his testimony, he implicated Joram Mwesige. He told court how the attack on him unfolded and how he was on duty, well labeled with a company T-shirt. So we think that we're heading towards the right direction.
Prosecution led by Deborah Itao objected to the application on the basis that she had witnesses in court, Andrew Lwanga, and seeking for an adjournment was intended to delay the due process of court. Prosecution alleges that on the 12th of January 2015, while covering a demonstration by a group of unemployed youth who were heading to police headquarters in Nakuru to deliver a letter to the Inspector General of Police, General Kale Kaihura, to allow them hold rallies in the different parts of the city, Andrew Lwanga was assaulted by Joram Mwesige, the former division police commander of Old Kampala Police Station. Trial resumes on the 3rd of next month.
It is rare in Uganda, in the Ugandan context, to have a sitting party president take leave. But Norbert Mao Tuesday shocked many when he announced he was delegating official party duties to the Secretary General for a month. This has got many people reading into the gesture, with some saying his DP leadership days could be over, while others see it as a sign of political maturity in the party. Zamzam Siraj now looks into the contentious issues raised by the leave.
DP President General Norbert Mao took many by surprise when he announced publicly he was taking a 1-month medical leave and delegated responsibilities of his office to the party's Secretary General. Immediately after this announcement, there was confusion, with some sections interpreting it as a resignation from the party presidency. But soon, questions arose on why the bold move. The party maintains Mao's position is not under threat.
He did not resign, as some people are speculating. He did not go because Lord Mayor or somebody else has expressed interest. He's a man who doesn't fear elections. At Makerere, he wrestled with the late Mayombo. He defeated him. Becoming a member of parliament, he raced with the Betty Bigombe.
The party highest administrator now, Matthias Nsubuga, says there's no vacancy for the party presidency and all those interested will have to wait.
So this time we don't want those divisions. That's why we are saying we must come together, unite. If somebody has been elected to be the flag bearer either for a constituency or for a district, we should have only one candidate. Others must rally behind the flag bearer.
This comes shortly after embattled Kampala Lord Mayor Elias Lukwago hinted he could be interested in the leadership of the Democratic Party.
We are here to strengthen the party, not to divide the party. That's what the president said yesterday, that a house divided can never stay strong. We must be united. We must come together. And at this moment in time, I want to appeal to all members of the Democratic Party, when the president is on leave, to abide by the constitution.
On the streets of Kampala, Ugandans share mixed views on the decision, and they also read into it differently.
Oliye mulwadde katalina kulekera na muvubuka n'akola ye otambula embeera yo si ya mulembe si ya katemba si ki nenga embeera yeyo oli mulwadde akooyi.
The party maintains Mao needs medical rest and they'll have party activities continue until he returns to take over its administration.
No, I'm not replacing him. I am the chief administrator of the party. I take the day-to-day administration of the party. And we have structures in the party. We have organizational structures. The president, in his absence, there is a vice president.
Norbert Mao was admitted at Nairobi Hospital last year in July after being referred from Lakor Hospital in Gulu district, where he was diagnosed with acute malaria and chest complications. Zamzam Siraj, WBS News, Kampala.
Power utility company Umeme says local contractors and suppliers need to form joint ventures and not work as individuals to be able to raise finances and compete with foreign companies for the available deals. Umeme ascertains that several Ugandan contractors and suppliers do not have the relevant skills required to deal with corporate companies and handle huge projects.
Although several opportunities have been availed for local contractors and suppliers in Umeme's quest to expand power coverage across the country, it emerges that Ugandan firms have failed to impress Umeme. These include line maintenance, installing poles, supplying poles and changing of wires, among others. Just a handful of them have won these deals, and this is why.
Many of them have been very small businesses. When you are a very small business and you do not keep records, your books of accounts, you don't have a good auditor, you don't have board meetings. When you go to a bank to raise financing, it's a struggle. We give you an order for 300 million shillings, you only have 70 million shillings. You think the bank will give you the money because at least you have some equity, which they should. But because you are not compliant, you don't have a structure in place, you find it's a big challenge to the banks. Then they come back to us. When we give you an LPO, a confirmed order that you supply this to Meme, that's almost like a check. So long as you supply the goods, you will be paid.
Speaking on the sidelines of Umeme's Contractors and Suppliers Conference in Kampala, aimed at devising solutions to improve operations, Board Chairman Patrick Vitatule noted that Ugandan firms do not have enough financing as many deal in small business.
Been running with these poles for a long time. It takes 20 years, 15 years for these eucalyptus poles to grow. So we create a market, you stimulate it, and people invest in that sector. I know many people have gone into tree planting, mainly targeting to supply Umeme poles. When we have only 15% of our population with electricity, it shows the size of the opportunity available.
Bitature cited examples in which there is demand for electric poles to connect new areas, but suppliers are not consistent, thus prompting Umeme to import.
You keep the small business to yourself. Partner with other people, form a consortium and win the deal. Or get international partners and form JVs, a joint venture, and do the deal, rather than sit back because it's only your idea. So we've got to make people open up that space, have the right attitude to business. Otherwise, these big opportunities pass them by, and it slows us down.
The Energy Ministry, on the other hand, is offering free Umeme connection to curb theft and risks involved in illegal connections. The ministry is also optimistic that Karuma Dam will double electricity generation in Uganda with an additional 600 megawatts expected production after completion. Kenneth Bwire, WBS Business.
Now, Parliament tasks the Prime Minister to explain the level at which proposed reforms and amendments have reached. This was during the question and answer session of the House, in which members asked government side any questions of national importance. Some members were, however, not impressed when the Prime Minister deferred the question on reforms because the Attorney General was not in the country.
So like when we actually come here today, first reading.
Head of this sector on constitutional reforms, it's only right and prudent that his input, since has been a critical actor in this matter, should be sought. This is not suggesting in any way that the government cannot run without any of the ministers, but facts should be said as they are.
We take a very short break. When Prime News returns, we'll be taking a look at sports.
I cherish children because they're important in our country. I show interest in what they do, I listen to what they say, so as they aspire to be the best, Respecting children teaches them how to respect others.
You see, a good school equals to a better life. Because a violence-free childhood is everyone's right. Raising Voices.
Welcome back, and a great pleasure to know that you're still with us. Let's take a look at what's happening in the world of sports. Now, after picking 1 point away in Maputo, Cobs regrouped this Saturday at Philip Omondi Stadium, Lugogo, to prepare for their return leg against Mozambique, set for 7th March 2015. Meanwhile, FUFA has stuck to its guns of having the Uganda Premier League continue running, although Super League clubs on Tuesday threatened to boycott. This comes at a time when clubs insist their games should be telecast, and their committee chairman Haji Abasi Kawase given fair hearing by the FUFA after being suspended. Our reporter has the details.
Having got a point away in Maputo, Micho believes that the Cobs is a good team to join the ranks of the senior level, the Uganda Cranes. Speaking at the weekly press conference at FUFA House, Mengo, Micho intimated that, though the team has to go through 3 different development stages, its future is brighter.
In Saturday, we shall regroup for non-residential training Saturday and Sunday. That Monday, we shall enter in the camp. And from Monday until Saturday and match at Nakivubo, we shall prepare ourselves in the best possible way in order to overcome the team of Mozambique and possibly qualify to the next round.
The tactician added that his technical team did enough scouting about their opponent and is happy with the build-up to the games. Meanwhile, FUFA have stuck to their earlier decision of having the local league continue being played without being telecast live on Azam TV until the case in court set for hearing on 3rd March is disposed of.
My name is Musa, your travel agent. I'm taking you around Africa, our motherland, a land gifted with beauty that flows right from Uganda, the Pearl of Africa. Our first destination will be Rwanda, a land of hills and beautiful ladies. Then Tanzania, the home to the great Kilimanjaro mountain. And Kenya, the Masai Mara home. If I may ask, anyone with more exciting sights?
Mofitable jelly and Mofitable soap.
That shows her love for quality African-made products. In fact, I move with Movit Herbal Jelly too.
My friends and I at Campus all use Movit Herbal products. As in, I even carried mine.
To have a good service, I first bathe with Movit Herbal soap.
You see, I gave the right answer. Even at home, we use Movit Herbal Gel and Movit Herbal soap. Me too.
Movit. All day confidence.
Think you have nothing to sell? Look around your home. You'll find something you don't use anymore that you can sell on OLX.
Simply download the OLX app, take a photo of the item you want to sell, post it on OLX for free, meet the buyer, and tunda! OLX, everything sells.
News Summary is brought to you by
Everybody use Movit Herbal Jelly. Movit is amazing. Moms and Movit Herbal Jelly. Movit is the best. Movit, all the confidence.
Kampala Police issues new terror alert and inspects public security installations. Kampala typhoid surges, the number of victims rises to over 300.
News Summary is brought to you by
Everybody use Movit Herbal Jelly. Movit is amazing. Moms and Movit Herbal Jelly. Movit is the best. Movit, all the confidence.
And thank you for being a wonderful audience. That's all we had time for. I'm Mildred Tohai. Say good evening and God bless you.